The old world monsters. But if there was one sin above another, which called for the destruction of the race by the flood, it was the base crime of amalgamation of man and beast, which defaced the image of God, and caused confusion everywhere. Every species of animal which God had created were preserved in the ark. The confused species which God did not create, which were the result of amalgamation, were destroyed by the flood. In Genesis chapter 6 verse 12 we read that not only was man corrupt before the great deluge, but all flesh, meaning all species of animals, have also been corrupted. Genesis 6:12, and God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. We know that the phrase all flesh is not just referring to human beings being corrupted, but animals also, because the phrase all flesh references man and beast in verses like 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 39. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there was one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. Now the question remains, what type of exact corruption is the Bible referring to? The answer can be found in the Book of the Giants. The Book of the Giants is an apocryphal book which expands upon the Genesis narrative of the Hebrew Bible. In a similar manner to the Book of Enoch, together with this latter work, the Book of the Giants stands as an attempt to explain how it was that wickedness had become so widespread and muscular before the flood. In so doing, it also supplies the reason why God was more than justified in sending that flood. The Book of the Giants has been found within the Dead Sea Scrolls and has been dated to before the 2nd century BC, but could be much older than that. Throughout the history of mankind, we see stories and descriptions of hybrid creatures found in folklore and classical mythologies. I'm going to give you a list and description of these creatures that we find in historical mythologies found all across our realm. The first hybrid in ancient mythology is Anubis, the jackal-headed Egyptian god. Then there is Bastet or Bast, the cat-headed Egyptian goddess. Then there's the Cynocephalus, a dog-headed creature. This creature is typically depicted with the head of a dog or jackal. It is a widely attested mythical phenomena existing in many different forms and contexts. Cynocephalies are known in mythology and legend from many parts of the world, including ancient Egypt, India, Greece, and China. Here's another hybrid creature known as a Daksha, which is a goat-headed man in Hindu belief. When we continue into the Hindu pantheon, we find gods like Ganesha, which is an elephant-headed god, and is one of the best known and worshipped deities in the Hindu pantheon. As we continue in the Hindu pantheon, there is also Hayagriva, which is a horse-headed deity avatar of Vishnu. Then you have the ox-head and horse-faced people in Chinese mythology, who are known as types of guardians of the underworld. Then as we get into ancient Greek mythology about hybrids, there's the Minotaur, which is a creature that has the body of a human with the head, tail, and occasional hindquarters of a bull. Then again in Hindu mythology we have Pratyangira, which is a Hindu goddess having the head of a lion. You can also find these similar lion hybrids in Egyptian mythology, such as Sekhmet, the lioness-headed Egyptian goddess. Now what's very interesting about the lion hybrids, this actually reminds me of a verse that's found in 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel chapter 23 verse 20. And Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man, of Kabzeel, who had done many acts, he slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. He went down also and slew a lion in the midst of a pit in time of snow. Then there's another verse in the book of Chronicles about the lion men, 1 Chronicles chapter 12 verse 8. And of the Gadites, there separated themselves unto David, and to the hold, to the wilderness, men of might, and men of war, fit for the battle, that could handle shield and buckler, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and were as swift as the roes upon the mountains. So yeah, it's incredibly interesting that this is how the Bible describes these men of war. Lion men with the faces of a lion. And lastly on the list of hybrid creatures found in folklore and mythologies, there is Pan, which is the god of the wild and protector of shepherds, who has the body of a man, but the legs and horns of a goat. Again, I can sit here for hours and list even more hybrid creatures found throughout mythologies across the world. But I think you guys get the picture. These mythologies and folklore of hybrid creatures are found all across the world. Now let's take a deep dive into the Book of the Giants. Now I believe these stories that we find all across the world about hybrid creatures weren't just folklore and mythology, but these were possibly real beings and monsters that existed before the flood. So let's talk about the Book of the Giants. The Book of the Giants retells parts of the Book of Enoch, and also elaborates on the exploits of the giants. Since no complete manuscript exists of the Book of the Giants, its exact contents and their order remains a matter of guesswork. Most of the content of the present fragments concerns the giants' ominous dreams and Enoch's effort to interpret them and to intercede with God on the giants' behalf. And here are the fragments from the Book of the Giants that was found within the Dead Sea Scrolls. IQ 23, fragment 9, plus 14 and 15. This is a summary statement of the descent of the wicked angels, bringing both knowledge and havoc. They knew the secrets of blank. Sin was great in the earth, blank. And they killed many, blank. They begot giants. The angels exploit the fruitfulness of the earth. 4Q 531, fragment 3. Everything that the earth produced, the great fish, the sky with all that grew, fruits of the earth, and all kinds of grains, and the trees, beasts and reptiles, all creeping things of the earth, and they observed all, every harsh deed and utterance, male and female among humans. The 200 angels chose animals on which to perform unnatural acts, including presumably humans. IQ 23, fragment 1 plus 6. 200 donkeys, 200 asses, 200 rams of the flock, 200 goats, 200 beasts of the field, from every animal, from every bird, for miscegenation. The outcome of the demonic corruption was violence, perversion, and a brood of monstrous creatures. 4Q531, fragment 2. They defiled, they begot giants and monsters. They begot, and behold, all the earth was corrupted, with its blood and by the hand of giants, which did not suffice for them, and they were seeking to devour many. The monsters attacked it. 4Q532, second fragment, 1 through 6. Flesh, all monsters, will be, they would arise, lacking in true knowledge, because the earth grew corrupt, mighty, they were considering, from the angels upon. In the end, it will perish and die. They caused a great corruption in the earth. This did not suffice to, they will be. So again, we don't have the complete work of the Book of the Giants, because much of the scroll was damaged, but we have enough fragments from the Book of the Giants to explain why God was more than justified in sending that flood. Now, when I read Genesis chapter 6, verses 12 and 13, everything starts to make more sense when you have the clarification and understanding from the Book of the Giants and all these mythologies and folklore of hybrid creatures that we can find all across the world. Genesis 6:12, it says this. Genesis 6:12, and God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. Genesis 6:13, and God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. So Genesis chapter 6 says that all flesh was corrupted, not just humans, right, which was the outcome of the Nephilim, but animals also. And the Book of the Giants talks about the Watchers coming down and genetically altering not just human beings, creating what we know as the men of renown, the Nephilim, the half-human, half-angel hybrids, but they also corrupted God's animals. And Genesis 6:13 says, through this corrupted flesh, violence filled the earth. Now, with this new understanding from reading the fragments from the Book of the Giants, the flood story makes perfect sense. God told Noah to build an ark. He took what was his, Noah and his family, pure human beings, and he took his kind of animals and placed them on the ark. The rest of these abominations God destroyed. So in reality, God sending the flood was him having mercy on humanity. For without it, human beings and all the natural animals that God created would have been completely destroyed by these monsters and Nephilim, all thanks to the sins of the fallen angels. Alright guys, I hope you found this video incredibly fruitful. If you would like to support this channel, I do have a Patreon, the link is down below. I would love to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we are out. Till next time, thank you.